Welcome back, everyone. I'm Marian Grimes, Business Development Manager for World Agritech. Ahead of the summit this March, we're bringing you bite-sized interviews with key individuals from across the ag industry. This time, I am joined by Kristal Allen, partner at Canadian law firm MLT Aikins. Such a pleasure to have you with us, Kristal.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you today.
Me too. It's the first time MLT Aikins will be joining us at the summit as a partner. So can you tell our audience briefly how the company is working with agri-food companies?
We've had the privilege of advising clients in the invention and development of novel products and technologies, and we help them get those technologies to market. And then once they are in the marketplace, we aid in the extraction of value and revenue from those technologies. Now, because we've been able to develop such a deep understanding of the agri-food industry, we're able to help those clients navigate the consumer and regulatory environments that underpin their activities and provide really context-driven and industry-informed advice in the event that they encounter any sort of hurdles in their operations.
And you cover everything from biotech and software-driven technology. So is there something that, a key challenge that keeps coming back? Is it something that you see, challenges that your clients are facing in bringing products and solutions to market? Is there something that is recurrent?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a number of challenges that are really common across virtually all technology types in the industry. So the first challenge that I would point to is really a thorn in a lot of sides of people in this space, and that is regulatory complexity or uncertainty. If we're looking at agricultural biotechnology, for example, the regulatory landscape can, depending where you are in the world, be quite archaic and often involve multiple regulatory agencies that can be siloed from each other. Now, by contrast, if we're looking at data-driven technologies, like artificial intelligence, automation, the regulatory landscape is highly unsettled, and the struggle to evolve and keep up with the speed of technology it is quite significant. So the result of both of those situations, though, is complexity. And this complexity can really stand in the way of innovation and progress. This complexity is highlighted even more when clients are seeking to develop or bring to market products and technologies in multiple jurisdictions. Another challenge that I would point out, and I think one that really bears mentioning given the context of what we'll be talking about at this event in March, is the management and protection of proprietary rights. So technology development inevitably involves discovery of novel products and technologies. However, what I would point out is that development and discovery is increasingly arising from collaborative activity. So what that means is that in addition to navigating traditional intellectual property challenges, such as determining in which jurisdictions to file for protection, figuring out effective enforcement mechanisms in an IP environment that has significant variability around the world, clients are now being faced with tough questions regarding things like who owns and has the right to control dissemination and use of the technologies they develop, and how to reconcile sometimes highly competing rights and interests. And on that point, the last thing I would note is that this issue is brought to bear even more when we're talking about data-driven technologies that rely on the collection, the use, and the disclosure of data, where, frankly, ownership of data becomes a key issue that is sort of related to that ownership piece.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think from day one, I really enjoyed your kind of your approach of just being there for your clients and navigate with them, kind of, like side by side. And it's true, it's very tricky, and I think you guys are here really to help in that piece. But what is getting you really excited about the biological space?
Oh my, the things we could say here. I'm so looking forward to this discussion in March. The biological space is such an interesting one to watch. And that's driven by a lot of things, but what I would kind of point out as sort of a key thing, if you will, that makes biologicals really interesting is that we're kind of in an age where consumer preferences are starting to drive not just an increased demand for organic or sustainably produced food and food ingredients, but also an increased demand for the use of organic or sustainably sourced inputs in the production of food and food ingredients. And this is sort of where biological sort of comes into the fray. What excites me here is really the sheer volume of innovation that we're likely to see in this space and how transformative it has the potential to be. I mean, in my view, biologicals present possibilities regarding things like managing pesticide resistance, maximizing soil fertility, protecting beneficial organisms, enhancing, protecting water and land quality. All of these things have been major challenges in agricultural production historically and will only continue to be more challenging in the future. So on the biologicals note, the other thing I would mention is that there is a lot of collaboration happening in this space, and we're also seeing kind of increased investment in R&D in this space that I think kind of flows from that. This increased investment results in research dollars flowing into existing R&D programs, obviously, but it also is resulting in the bringing together of complementary research programs, either via a collaborative or co-development kind of arrangement, or really via acquisition activity. And the reason for that, I think, is because many companies have a piece of the puzzle, so to speak, but putting that puzzle together requires pieces that competitors or new entries into the biological space may have. So for example, as large R&D companies and multinationals have increased their attention to the development of biologicals, we've seen a number of those companies acquire or invest in emerging companies that have novel technology or that have the potential to advance or repurpose proprietary technology of those large R&D companies.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and I can't wait to hear more at the event in San Francisco. It's going to be such an interesting panel discussion as well with you there, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of people talking about this as well. So, Kristal, thank you so much for your time today, and yeah, we just look forward to seeing you in San Francisco.
Thank you, Marianne. I'm looking forward to it as well.